Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Yes.
Ooh. Rachel?
Some people describe films like this as open endings, loose ends, thinkers. Films that get me thinking with the ending have always felt special to me. Whenever I see something that made me think twice about what actually happened, or if I watch something that confuses me to the point of me looking up a YouTube video on the topic. These videos are what I want to talk about today, mainly what they represent. Their cult status. A cult film can be many things, but in essence, a cult film is a film with a passionate and dedicated following. A cult film doesn't have to be any one kind of film, it can be anything. It can be an old film that gives nostalgia, it can be a horror film with crazy gore that gets praised for years and years to come, it can be a film that is so terrible, people laugh at it for years.
Here you go.
That's me. How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy. Bye.
Or it can be a film that is vague, that invites the audience to work the film out themselves and gives them the opportunity to create their own ending and their own takeaways from the movie. There are some films where this is the case. A good sign for a film gaining a second life after its release, due to its open-ended nature, is people explaining them. If you go on YouTube and type in any of the films I showed you today, you will see thousands of videos of people explaining and speculating about the ending. For example, if you look up The Thing Explained in YouTube, there is thousands and thousands of videos of people talking about the ending and what the film means. This gives the film a second life, nearly 43 years after the film's release. So does a film's ending being open give it a cult status? Some think so. A cult film has an active and lively communal following. All these films have a community of people that still watch them and speculate on them, thanks to the loose ending. There are also entire groups on Reddit and other social media platforms and websites debating what they believe to be the ending of the film to mean. The cult following that generates from just the ending of the films is something that couldn't be attained from a film that ends all wrapped up. What about films with closed endings? Would we talk about films like Donnie Darko or The Lighthouse in the same way if they gave us all the answers when the film ends? I don't think so. There is lots of films that gain a cult following for not having an open ending as well, like The Room, which is famous for being terrible and having a really weird pre-production story. And films like John Carpenter's The Thing, which has gained a cult following for its incredible, groundbreaking practical effects. Or a film that's so camp it paved the way for LGBT movement in film. The Rocky Horror Picture Show from 1975 was controversial when it came out due to the transsexual main character and the homosexual scenes in the film. Since then, this film has become a cult classic in the LGBT community. The film bombed when it first released in theatres during normal daytime screenings, but it was saved when the film started showing at midnight screenings across the world, and it still gets shown today. Donnie Darko is a good example of a film that embraces its open ending and leans into the openness. The film released and the audiences were rightly confused of the meanings of the film, so the director released the director's cut version of the film to make it easier to understand. This definitely adds to the cult following aspect of the film, creating a community of dedicated fans who... Some directors really lean into loose endings and make it their own thing. Robert Eggers has gained a reputation for making films that are thought-provoking and ambiguous. Eggers takes the show not tell rule in filmmaking and throws it on its head. You notice in lots of Eggers' work that he uses unreliable narrators to keep the audience guessing at every point in the film. People who speculate and make posts about these films and which person's telling the truth creates the cult following. Eggers does something very similar in his film The Lighthouse. Both characters are unreliable narrators. Robert Pattinson's character supposedly lies about his own name. We don't know if he tells the full story about his past. Willem Dafoe's character lies about the way his last wiki dies. So we'll never know if either of them are telling the full truth. The fact that this film leaves you with so many questions when it all ends adds to the cult status because people keep talking and speculating about them on Reddit threads still to this day. Stanley Kubrick made films that require the audience to put the pieces of the puzzle together to create their own ending. To me, this makes a film feel more personal. Kubrick's films have had many different interpretations, not only with the ending but also with the content of the film itself. Most of his films have had a second life on YouTube or in different Reddit threads, thousands of explained videos and posts speculating about all the little details in his films to create a different understanding. This leaves not only his films with a cult following, but himself as a filmmaker, since his work and life is still being praised by a passionate community of people today. Art makes us feel a certain way, whether that be the creator's intention or not. It always does. Artists sometimes want the audience to feel one definitive way about their story, but on lots of different special circumstances, the artist decides to give the audience a chance to make their own ending, make their own interpretation of what their story means. The artist has their interpretation, but they still let the audience figure it out for themselves. A film that develops a cult following is special. It shows that there is something else under the surface of the film, something else for audiences to sink their teeth into and enjoy. It shows the film had a lot of meaning, thought, and especially passion put into it. Finally, you either hate or you love loose endings. Maybe some work for you and some you just despise. At the end of the day, you create your own meaning. You create your own message. Because you live your own life, you have your own experiences. And watching a film is just taking a look into a piece of someone else's life. And sometimes life looks meaningless on the surface. All you need to do is look a little deeper.